Hey, welcome back. I'm Tharan Shetty, and we're once again doing another fantastic episode in my luxurious West Hollywood abode. I hope everyone had a great 2020. I was in Florida, and man, everyone knows that, well, not everyone, but I was born and brought up in New Hampshire, and I'm so used to going back to New Hampshire every year. And recently, my parents moved to Florida, so I had to adjust. And now I go to Florida for vacations, and whenever I have free time, I go and see my parents. And that's what I wanted to talk about today about impermeates, because I've learned so much about just how life changes. Because when I used to go back to New Hampshire, it was like this security bubble. I didn't really have to deal with anybody. I just kind of stayed sheltered in my parents' house, and it was a small, quiet town. My parents now live in this retirement community, and it's so busy that I'm just constantly just inundated by different people that I've had to kind of just see different personalities and kind of meet people. And I've actually learned a lot, which I'm going to talk about right now. So, as always, I'm telling you, this is just my experiences. Take it for what it is. I mean, maybe it's nothing, but I don't know. I think it's pretty profound, and I think there's some value, because here's what I've learned. So I was in New Hampshire. I was in Tampa. I was in Waimama, actually. That's where they live. Waimama, Florida, in this community. And everyone has their own identity, right? And let me get into this. So everyone has like their own thing which makes them who they are, right? And I don't know if that's good or bad, but I've definitely noticed that visiting my parents. For example, there's this guy who my family knows really well, and he moved to the same area, and he was this huge doctor back in the day. I remember seeing him when I was a kid, and he had all this, super wealthy doctor with his wife, kids, and throwing parties every weekend. Like, he was just the man. He's now 82. Wife died. It's got depressing all of a sudden. Wife died. Kids have moved out. Whatever. So he lives by himself, right, nearby, and his life just changed, right? And it's kind of sad, because he just kind of watched CNN like 24/7 and does his thing. But I kept thinking, I was like, dude, this guy's life changed like that, right? And that happens to everybody. But I'm just using this as an example. But when you talk to him, like, I go over his house and I see all like his diplomas on the wall, and he loves telling stories about being back as a doctor, being a surgeon. He has all these stories, and like, because that's who he was as a person, right? Then I went to another like party, it's like a senior citizen party, whatever. And there was a guy there, and he was a retired engineer. This dude talked about his engineering days. Like, he just went off this long story, which nobody really cared about being an engineer. And it was like, just some story about superconductors, and who the hell knows what he was talking about. But then I realized, just sit here and listen, because this is this guy's identity. This is who he is as a person, and he's still clinging to that. So I was going to put that into my own perspective and lens of like who we are. And, for me, I mean, I'm a comedian, writer, whatever, but for a while, that was who I am as a person. I was like, oh, I'm a comedian, I'm this. And I see that with my friends too, like, a lot of my friends, like, they cling to that identity of who they are. Like, I'm a comedian, my name's on the marquee, and I think that's why I'm not a good fit with Hollywood anymore, because I don't like that anymore. Like, I'm not saying, even me trying to be self-aware and be like, oh, I'm not like that. That's a form of ego too, right? I'm not this self-evolved, aware person. Anyway, so I'm just processing all these things right now, and I was trying to think of like, how can we, well, I guess there's really no answer to this, because eventually, I mean, everything changes, right? Nothing's permanent, which brings me back to the theme of this, impermanence. Nothing's permanent, but when we get trapped in who we are as people, I think that's where suffering comes from, because maybe I'm just repeating stuff I've read, but when we just become this person and everything is invested into that identity, that's going to change eventually. I mean, like even like comedy wise, nobody ever stays on the top forever, right? Like I can tell you when I was coming up, like Chris Rock was the man. Chris Rock was the biggest comedian, HBO specials, TV shows, right? I'm not saying he's still somebody now, but that changed real quick. Heck, we can go back before that. Like Bill Cosby was huge, Seinfeld, and now it's like, then it went to like Dave Chappelle, then it went to like Amy Schumer. I mean, Chelsea Handler was hot for a second. Louis C.K. I'm just throwing out comedy things because I'm a comedian. And like these guys, you know, had their rise and a little bit of fall. It's like it's inevitable. Like things are gonna change, and nothing is permanent. So when I visited my parents again this past 2020 over New Year's, Christmas, I just saw all these personalities of people who were just holding on to whatever they had because now their bodies are broken, they're old, you know, nobody cares about them. Their loved ones have died, right? It's almost depressing. Let's be real about this. It's super depressing getting old. But it's depressing if you're clinging to the past. So I took away from this last vacation, I was like, I've got to figure out a way to just be happy with and be content with who I am as a person and not get so self-absorbed with my identity, with my career, with, you know, because look, I'm not saying I'm some huge star now, but everything I do have, it's already changed. I mean, look, it already did change for me. Like when I was in my late 20s, I was at a high. I was on, you know, everything was going really, really well. I was on like a good series. I was making like really great money, blah, blah, blah. And that changed real quick in my 30s. So I think the lesson here, what I'm just telling you, and I hope this has made sense because it's starting to not make sense to me as I'm saying this out loud, but everything will die. I mean, that's everything. I think these videos all have like a somber, depressing messages, but it's reality. Everything will change, but it could be a great thing because maybe that's where you evolve. Maybe that's where you grow when things you have kind of fall away and you're kind of left with yourself. So really all you have is your true, authentic self, which is being some old person in Florida watching CNN. Maybe that's the future for everybody. I don't know. So that's what I took away from it. And I think for me moving forward, well, I'm trying right now. I mean, I've been really trying to just not do stand-up, right? For a while, I was like, oh, I gotta be the best comedian I can possibly be. I gotta be a touring comedian. In fact, this month, I turned down El Paso, Texas. I turned down Portland, Oregon. I turned down a bunch of like legit stand-up gigs, which would have been great. And I would have loved to have done it, but I really want to just focus on finishing my books, which I'm close to finishing another novel. And I really want to pound that out. I also have some TV stuff here going on in LA, which is great. I've worked really hard to get to this point. But I don't want to be ruled by my ego where it's like, dude, I have to have this. I gotta be, you know, look at me, laud me, you know, like that. I feel like it's not healthy. So I don't know if any of this stuff's healthy, to be honest. I wake up sometimes and I'm like, dude, is this really like a healthy lifestyle choice of just constantly chasing this thing that we've all, especially entertainment. I'm not sure what it's like being like a lawyer or a doctor or something, but entertainment, there's always someone at the next rung you're chasing after, and I loathe that completely. I hate that. You know, that's why I try to just not pay attention to all these people with podcasts and comedians. It's just this world of just grandstanding, and everyone's trying to make themselves look better than their real lives. And look, that's also Instagram too, right? Social media. I mean, I have no idea how anybody stays sane. So I'm trying like everybody else, and let's see. But maybe this helps you, maybe it doesn't help you, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. I think self-awareness is a great thing. I'm not there yet either. Like, I'm not perfect, I'm not there yet, but it's definitely something I'm going to work on, and I hope you take time to work on yourself too. So that's it for me. Have a great week. Talk soon. Bye. Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, please subscribe. Bell below. Do it.